Greetings and welcome. This video is based on articles, reviews, and opinions shared by experts in the field. The 2026 FIFA World Cup was built to be the most open tournament in history. 48 teams. The widest door ever held open to the football world. And for CONCACAF, that door swung open even wider. The three regional giants, the United States, Mexico, and Canada, didn't need to qualify. They were hosts. Automatic. Gone from the equation. That left 6 spots. 6 for everyone else. And with traditional rivals like Costa Rica sliding into decline, the path in front of Jamaica wasn't just clear. It was practically paved. Many called it a golden ticket. The Reggae Boyz never cashed it. How does a nation with elite Premier League level talent fail to walk through the widest door ever open to it? If you value stories like this one, stories that ask the hard questions, hit that subscribe button now, because this is not just about football. This is about leadership. To understand why this failure cut so deep, you have to go back to 1998. The first and still the only time Jamaica reached the World Cup finals. That campaign was not luck. It was vision. Coach Rene Simoes built something deliberate, a disciplined blend of homegrown local talent and a newly recruited diaspora squad. English-born players with Jamaican heritage, affectionately dubbed the UB40S. They weren't parachuted in. They were woven in, slowly, carefully, until the seams disappeared. And on the world's biggest stage, that unity produced a historic 2-1 victory over Japan. 1998 set a benchmark, not just for results, for organization. For nearly 30 years, the Federation has chased that same glory, while somehow losing the very blueprint that created it. Because here is the painful truth about the 2026 cycle. Jamaica did not lack star power. The roster carried elite Premier League level talent. Leon Bailey, Mikel Antonio, names that walk into top European dressing rooms. And yet, Jamaica finished second in their qualifying group, behind Curaçao, a nation of 156,000 people, fewer people than some parishes. Forced into the intercontinental playoffs, the campaign came down to one night at the Estadio Akron in Mexico. 90 minutes, 1 goal, a 1-0 loss to DR Congo, and the door to 2026 slammed shut, losing a winnable playoff, dropping points to far smaller nations. At some point, you have to accept what the evidence is telling you. Jamaica's problems are no longer happening on the pitch. The collapse points to something older and deeper, a long-standing pattern of mismanagement inside the Jamaica Football Federation. And you don't have to take my word for it. Take the captains. Andre Blake, the man who wears the armband, publicly called the JFF a joke program, citing a total lack of leadership and direction. When your captain says that out loud, that is not frustration, that is an alarm. And it wasn't an isolated voice. The women's national team, the Reggae Girls, were forced to boycott matches after the JFF failed to pay their 2023 World Cup bonuses. Think about that. Players who carried the nation's flag to the world stage were left waiting for what they had already earned. And through all of it, the public disputes, the unpaid athletes, the failure to qualify, JFF President Michael Ricketts has refused to step down, insisting the Federation has been a success under his watch. When leadership spends its energy defending its own tenure instead of supporting its athletes, even a squad of world-class players will struggle to perform. Talent cannot outrun dysfunction forever, and that dysfunction bled directly onto the pitch. The instability at the top produced a revolving door on the touchline. The 2026 cycle alone saw 3 different men in charge: Jaime Hallgrimsson, Steve McLaren, interim coach Rudolph Spat. McLaren's resignation could not have come at a worse moment immediately after the draw with Curaçao, leaving the team with no permanent head coach just as they entered the highest stakes matches of the entire cycle. You cannot build a system while constantly resetting it. By the time the playoffs arrived, this team had no clear tactical identity. 11 men on a pitch with no shared idea of who they were. The JFF's answer: ramp up recruitment, scout English-born players and rush them into the squad in the weeks before major matches. Now remember, 1998. Those diaspora players were integrated over the course of a year. Trust was built. Chemistry was earned. In 2026, players were dropped into the starting lineup with almost no time to train alongside their teammates. The result was predictable: a disconnect between domestic players and overseas stars, and reported tensions inside the locker room, because collecting elite talent is only the first step. Without time, without chemistry, you don't have a team. You have a collection of individuals wearing the same shirt. And now comes the part that should trouble every Jamaican, whether you follow football or not. The economic cost of missing 2026 is staggering. Estimates suggest the GFF has lost out on $1.5 billion in potential revenue, sponsorships, and FIFA developmental grants. That was not luxury money. That was the lifeline. The funding meant to build the grassroots infrastructure and youth academies that Jamaican football so desperately lacks. Missing this tournament starves the system of the very resources needed to fix the failures that caused the miss in the first place. A golden ticket, a generation of elite talent, and a door held wide open. The question Jamaica must now answer is not why the Reggae Boyz lost one playoff in Mexico. It is this: how many more golden tickets will leadership be allowed to throw away?